I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. On Monday, December 21st, the pre-Christmas slowdown has already begun, so I'm going to begin with a news report from Las Vegas, where a driver plowed onto a sidewalk crowd with people on the Las Vegas Strip, killed one, injured dozens, and left several critically injured. The police, it's a sign of the times, were first asked, was this an act of terrorism? They don't think it was an act of terrorism, but they do think the action was intentional. An arrest has been made, but it is a reminder how little sophistication and how little in the way of planning or fancy equipment is necessary to do great violence in America. And that's something that perhaps should be remembered when we think about ways that we think we can stop all this from ever happening. We pretty well cannot. Speaking of weapons of violence, the Springdale police said today that a woman who killed herself last week in Springdale did so intentionally. She walked onto a gun range, rented a handgun for $5, and killed herself. There are no licenses, nothing's necessary to have a gun there at a gun range. It's perhaps one piece of information that might go into explaining why gun deaths have now matched traffic deaths for the first time in 20 years in the United States. Do more guns make it easier to do bad things with them, whether by accident or otherwise? That's something that some research perhaps could let us tell if the Congress would allow more money to be spent on that subject. Speaking of terrorism and our fears that are afoot today in America, I learned late last week that the schools in Magnolia suffered a huge bout of absenteeism a week ago. Rumors got started for reasons that are as yet unclear that Muslims had bought a number of assault rifles at a local Magnolia store, and a terrorist attack was planned. No such thing was true. No facts were ever found to explain why this happened outside of a fire on a utility pole and somebody had taken a photograph of an elementary school. But again, it's a sign of the times. Back to other news. Ozell Sutton, who was a lion in the civil rights movement, an Arkansas native who marched with Martin Luther King and who in a very famous episode desegregated the Arkansas State Capitol cafeteria when blacks were not allowed to eat there, has died at 90 in Atlanta. He leaves a great legacy. Governor Asa Hutchinson has denied clemency to Rolfe Castle, who spent 34 years in prison so far for a $260 robbery with a water pistol of a Fort Smith taco stand. He's been farmed out to Utah because he said too many straight things in a film interview about bad operations in the Arkansas prisons. He's going to spend at least 6 more years in prison, even though the governor has talked about injecting some sanity and equity in sentencing. Castle's there as a 3 strikes and you're out lifer. We learned last week that the University of Arkansas Board of Trustees had spent at least $23,000, not counting meals and wine, so that 5 members of the UA Board of Trustees and their wives could visit the Rome campus of the University of Arkansas. This is a small operation that caters to over 500 students or so a year who do some foreign study abroad. Nice work if you can get it. Tom Cotton's getting national headlines today. Our senator has taken exception to some things said by Apple CEO Tim Cook about protecting privacy of information on Apple, Google, Facebook, and other digital enterprises. Tom Cotton wants the government to be able to get into these things as they can with the phone companies. He thinks a little privacy invasion is necessary for national security. The state police say that they're going to continue DWI safety sobriety checkpoints on the roads as a way of reducing drunken drivers. They will follow court-ordered mandates that these have to be done in a fair and rational way and with lots of safeguards. The Little Rock police held such a checkpoint for the first time last Friday night in western Little Rock. 22 people got charged as a result. And let's have some good news. The UALR Trojans, that's Little Rock now in the new name, are 10-0 on the basketball court. The men's team will try and make an 11 tomorrow against Texas Tech. And congratulations to Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. She married Boyce Richardson over the weekend in a nice ceremony at the Lafayette Building in Little Rock. Merry Christmas and best wishes to the newlyweds. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.
You feel it in your heart. The spirit of Little Rock. We've had that spirit since 1927, helping build our city by producing decades of leaders in the heart of our state. We are the heart of business and innovation, the heart of politics and government, the heart of arts and culture, and in our city beats the heart of a Trojan. UALR, we are Little Rock's team and Little Rock's University.
I was present when Dr. King was killed. He was in 306 of Lorraine Hotel, and I was in 308. And I heard the shot ring out that killed Dr. King. And I looked around, and about 20 feet away was Dr. King's body back against the wall. I jumped in my car and went to the hospital because as an employee of the Department of Justice, I could get in my little old badge, and I got into the hospital. And the doctor looked me straight in the eye and said, "He's dead, Mr. Sutton."